Hi, I'm Jeanette Roche. This is Forum Daily West. Here are some of the top stories we've been following. Wildfires in Manitoba have the city of Flin Flon on verge of evacuation, while Saskatchewan remains under a fire ban. Close to 2,000 people were evacuated Tuesday from communities in that province. Canada Post and the union representing its workers head back to the bargaining table today. And the Israeli Prime Minister announces the death of a senior Hamas leader, the brother of one of the masterminds of the October 7th attack on Israel. Thanks so much for joining us. Widespread wildfires in Manitoba have the city of Flin Flon on evacuation alert. Officials told the city's roughly 5,000 residents last night to be ready to flee at a moment's notice. Premier Wab Kinew reiterated that today.
If you're in Flin Flon, we're asking you to prepare for a potential evacuation. On the city's Facebook page, you can see information about how to get ready. And if the order comes, we're asking you to listen. For Manitobans and the rest of the province, now is the time to get ready to support. The hotels are already full across Manitoba, and so we're going to be turning to other folks in the community, not necessarily private residences, but companies and communities across the province to potentially open your doors. If we have to move a community of 6,000 people, thereabouts, then we are going to be turning to people for help.
The fire near Flin Flon began in Saskatchewan and crossed over the Manitoba border. Crews struggled to fight the blaze, and water bombers had to be grounded because of a drone flying in the area. Northern Saskatchewan remains under a fire ban as officials say conditions there are tinder dry. The ban was imposed after about 2,000 people were evacuated Tuesday from the communities of Pelican Narrows and Hall Lake. Officials say nearly all wildfires so far in Saskatchewan have been caused by people. The Weather Network is putting out its seasonal forecast for the summer, and for much of the country, you can sum it up in 2 words: sunny and hot. Meteorologist Doug Gilham says warmer than normal summer temperatures are expected across most of Canada, but too much of a good thing could increase the risk of wildfires and drought.
I think most people are going to be happy when they see the forecast initially. I mean, people are longing for sunshine. They're longing for warm temperatures. And this forecast has an abundance of both. However, I think this summer is also going to highlight the fact that you can get too much of a good thing. And so while we're forecasting warmer than normal temperatures across most of the country, we are concerned about the amount of heat that we will see, especially across Western Canada. Concern there for severe heat, extended heat waves, and although we all want sunshine, too much sunshine can lead to drought conditions. You know, we don't like the rainy days, but we need the rain, and we are concerned about below normal precipitation across most of Western Canada. So that has implications for agriculture, for the risk for wildfires, smoke and air quality. Now, across Eastern Canada, we do expect, from Ontario to the Great Lakes to Atlantic Canada, warmer than normal temperatures, but a lot of that's going to be due to nighttime temperatures. We expect higher humidity, more muggy conditions, less severe heat, but a higher risk for thunderstorms. And again, while we don't like to see rain in the summer, we need to see rain. We're going to see more of that from the Great Lakes to Atlantic Canada. And probably, unfortunately, if it rains on the weekend, nobody's happy about that. And a higher risk for storms. Of course, that's the negative side as well. So lots of good news this summer, but some disclaimers as well, and that this summer can have some difficulties that come with extreme heat and not enough rain in parts of the country and stormy weather in other parts of the country.
Gilham says with no dominant global weather patterns like El Nino or La Nina, the sun becomes the default driver, and that often means widespread heat over the interior of North America. Canada Post and the union representing 55,000 of its workers were headed back to the bargaining table today. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says the Crown Corporation plans to respond to proposals the union presented on a Sunday. The union has been in a strike position since Friday, but instead chose an overtime ban. Key issues in the labor dispute include wages and other forms of compensation, as well as the potential for more part-time staff and weekend delivery. Lethbridge Polytechnic hosted a gathering of junior high school students from across southern Alberta for a friendly engineering competition called Wind Rally. Students in teams crafted small-scale vehicles that can be propelled by wind source using a gear or pulley system to carry a small load of marbles. They had to build them in a set amount of time before racing against other groups. 343 members of Parliament were in their seats in the House of Commons today for the first question period of the new session. It's also Prime Minister Mark Carney's first time in the House as an elected official. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was not in the House, having lost his Ottawa seat in the election. He's hoping to return following a by-election in Alberta. In the House, opposition leader Andrew Scheer fired this volley at Carney.
Since the election, Canadians have been inundated with grand rhetoric and pretty speeches from this Liberal Party, but they are still suffering under all those policies. Household debt up at record levels, number of people who can't pay their mortgages increasing, food bank use continuing to rise. Now TD Bank is forecasting a recession with hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. The PM said undoing the damage of the last 10 years would require great speed, but he's not going to table a budget for 6 months. If he's the man with the plan and the guy you hire in a crisis, why won't he table a budget before he goes on summer vacation?
The right honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the member of the opposition is very busy, didn't have a chance to study closely the 100-day plan of the former member from Ottawa, Carleton, which did not include a budget. Our plan includes legislating. Our plan includes legislating for one Canadian economy and nation-building projects immediately to grow this economy, and we expect the support from all in this House.
The federal defense minister says Ottawa will quickly get to work rebuilding Canada's military capacity. David McGuinty spoke at a defense industry trade show in the nation's capital a day after the Liberal government signaled in its throne speech that Canada plans to join a major European defense procurement pact. McGuinty says joining Rearm Europe will give Canada access to new opportunities in the continent's $1.25 trillion defense marketplace.
In previous engagements with national defence and industry, many of you have raised concerns about friction points, timelines, and the need for clear and consistent guidance. I want to reassure you, your comments have been heard. Our forthcoming defence industrial strategy will put your insights into action. If we get it wrong, tell us. If we get it right, tell us. We'll build a secure, resilient industrial base that supports long-term defence goals. Canada has planned to triple defence spending from 2014 levels by 2030. But your government is moving to accelerate this. So stay tuned.
Canada's plan to meet NATO defense spending targets by 2030 could be in trouble, though. NATO's Secretary General this week said the 2% benchmark would likely be raised to 5% at the next Leaders Summit at the end of June. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has killed a senior Hamas leader.
חיסלנו עשרות אלפי מחבלים, חיסלנו את דף, הנייה, יחיא סנואר ומוחמד סנואר.
Speaking before Parliament today, Netanyahu confirmed Mohammed Sinwar's death in a recent airstrike in the Gaza Strip. Mohammed is the brother of Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas leader and one of the masterminds of the October 7th attack. Yahya was killed by Israeli forces last year. And in Ottawa today, a group of Canadian doctors who just returned from Gaza told their first-hand accounts of the ongoing bloodshed there. They are part of a group called Doctors Against Genocide and are demanding an end to the conflict.
We've been there. We are the eyewitnesses to this genocide. We are telling the truth. And yes, IDF forces are lying to you. Innocent people are being killed in mass numbers, from paramedics to doctors and even children. Gaza currently has the highest amount of child amputees per capita in the world. This never happens. It does not happen unless you deliberately target innocent civilians. To our politicians, please have the courage to say the words, Israel is committing a genocide. These children who have died at least deserve this justice. Impose a two-way arms embargo. And let me end with this. There is no moral difference between killing children in chambers or by burning them alive in their sleep. Both are genocide. I understand that. Both are evil and both demand justice.
A similar event was held in Washington, D.C. today with Doctors Against Genocide urging the Senate to take action to end the war in Gaza. Lethbridge City Council has approved a new incentive for business in certain sectors looking to invest in the city. The Business Development Expansion and Retention Incentive Program will award businesses in agriculture, trade and logistics, and alternate and renewable energy. Those that spend over $2 million will receive a grant tied to property taxes that will cover incremental increases in their investments. Mayor Blaine Higgins said that he brought the resolution forward last year after hearing from business owners looking to come into Lethbridge, and this will make it easier for them to invest in the city.
My statement has always been we're open for business, and so in order to do that, we need to be competitive with some of the other communities that maybe these folks have reached out to. So it's really something that is incentivize folks to expand their business in town or new business to come to town, and so we found that to be just extremely beneficial. I'm glad to see where we're at now. One thing is we did have similar programs in our downtown core, but we heard loud and clear that this has to be something that's available for the community as a whole, not just in the downtown core. And so I think that's an exciting part about this. These new incentives are that they are community-wide.
The rates that the grants will cover tax increases will begin at 100% coverage in the first year and taper to 50% by year 5. Also approved at Council today, the Lethbridge District Exhibition will now be split into 2 organizations. As previously reported on BCN, it will consist of the Lethbridge Ag Society and Events Co., who will organize events held at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center. Hagan adds that this will help ease the burden from the city in light of the financial challenges that came from the exhibition.
I think it's a smart thing. This is, again, comes from recommendations of consultants, and so that we've been working with, and so it's I'm looking forward to what the future brings and finding even more cost savings at that facility, because we know it's been a challenge over these past couple of years with what's happened, and so I really think that making these decisions and having Deloitte, the group that was hired to help us through this process, it's going the right direction, so we're pretty happy about that.
The new Ag Society is now eligible to receive provincial grants annually to the tune of $550,000. Operations at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center cost $4 million annually. The Chinook Regional Hospital has received the largest community donation in its history. The Jack Addy Cancer Center will receive a $2.9 million donation from the late Bruce and Edna Moffat, a local couple who supported the hospital for decades before passing. The funds will go towards a new linear accelerator for cancer treatment, which is on track to be installed by next year.
It is so exciting and so humbling. This level of support from the community, $2.9 million investing in cancer care to further improve the care that we provide here at the Jack Addy Cancer Center, is really amazing. When we opened this cancer center 15 years ago, we installed 2 linear accelerators, and you can imagine over 15 years the technology has changed a great deal. So this funding is going towards a new linear accelerator with enhanced technology, new imaging, new treatment that allows us to be even more precise. It is state of the art. This equipment now exists in Edmonton and in Calgary, but it is the first of our expansion sites that will have this particular new unit with the technology that it has. That means we can treat exactly what we want to treat, nothing more. We can treat that to a dose in such a way that we really improve the opportunities for patients to survive their cancer and to minimize the impact and side effects of that cancer.
The Jack Addy Cancer Center treats around 900 patients per year from across southern Alberta. Alberta Health Services has issued a warning about the water in Writing on Stone Provincial Park, southeast of Lethbridge. Due to elevated levels of fecal bacteria currently present in the water, AHS is advising the public not to swim or wade at the beach area, effective immediately. The fecal bacteria was found in the water sample taken from the Milk River. AHS says at current levels, gastrointestinal illness may result from ingestion of the water at this beach. Also, there is the possibility of skin, ear, and eye infections. AHS environmental public health officers will continue to monitor the water at Writing on Stone Provincial Park, but the advisory is in effect until further notice. Lethbridge Police will be beefing up traffic enforcement in the coming months. Last weekend, police handed out 46 traffic violations and arrested an impaired driver as part of an ongoing enforcement project that will continue throughout the summer. This type of targeted operation was first initiated in 2022 to address issues like excessive vehicle noise, racing, and stunting. That is your Forum Daily West report. I'm Jeanette Roche. Thanks so much for watching.